My name is Richard Lee. I'm a senior lecturer in the law school and I teach mainly on the undergraduate programme which is called the LLB. This year on one of the units on the LLB, which is the criminal law unit, which I'm the leader for, we have decided to try a new form of assessment for the in-course assessment. Traditionally in law you'd often see a piece of written coursework, normally about 3,000 words, which would be worth about half the assessment, the other part being an exam at the end of the year. But we want to try and diversify our forms of assessment within the law school, and so what we are trying in criminal law is a form of oral assessment. And the idea behind it is that the student will be given some form of issue to discuss, or it could even be asked, they could be asked to advise a potential client on a legal matter. Now it's a purely oral recording, there's no video component. And equally, they're not going to be doing it in front of any member of staff acting as a judge or other form of interviewer. The student will go away and do it purely by themselves in their own time. So in some respects it could be likened to a form of written coursework that's simply being read out, so a form of oral coursework. But it's unusual because we're not going to give the students any help in terms of the technology. So the students have been told very clearly that they need to find their own mechanism of how they're going to record this particular presentation. So they've been advised, use a smartphone, use a laptop with the webcam turned off, and there are obviously facilities that the university can also provide. So hopefully we're going to see the students engaging with the process and getting to grips with having to deal with their own IT problems and not relying on us. So there's an idea of self-sufficiency there. So in terms of the submission mechanism, we are keeping it purely online. So the students have been given a link on Moodle, which they can use to upload their oral presentation. The markers will then access those students who they've been allocated to mark and can just listen to the recording either on their own laptops or MP3 players or whatever it is, and then carry out the marking process. In terms of the marking process, the students have been also asked to upload two other things alongside their oral presentation, and that is a bibliography, just so we can see what sources they're using, and they've also been asked to upload a simple page of A4 which sets out in bullet point format the structure of their presentation. So those two documents are just designed to help the markers but don't form part of the formal assessment itself. So once the students have uploaded all of this onto Moodle and the markers have had a look at it, the idea is also to give feedback purely via Moodle as well. So what the marker will do is they will go into a little box which will be returned back to the students, and in the box we will adopt what has become now the law school-wide feedback policy of writing 3 good things about their work, and then they will also mention 3 areas that can be improved upon. We have 5 assessment criteria, 5 learning outcomes I suppose I should say, sorry, and the debate is designed to affix to about 2 or 3 of those. Mainly it's the ability to research things, to be able to orally present information, and also to carry out the recording itself, the IT skills part of it. So those are the learning outcomes which we're trying to hit with this particular assessment. The desire to move everything onto Moodle, to go completely online, comes out of some work we were doing last year when we had an assessment online as well. And it has a number of advantages. First of all, by moving everything online, moving the submission online, what that means is that the students can submit anytime they want to, from anywhere they want to. It's also useful for the markers and also the moderators and also the external examiner because the markers will be able to access every student's work. Again, for moderation, no need to swap any work. I simply, as the unit leader, allocate out what work needs to be moderated to the marking team, and they can again access the student's work directly online and look at that and moderate it. And also the external examiner was also quite complimentary about this system because he is given access to Moodle and he can also see all of the work, he can see what's been moderated, he can see all our comments, and he can get an idea of what the standard of marking and can satisfy himself that it's been suitably robust and applied properly. So there are many good reasons why it's good to submit online and store the data online. In terms of the return to students, the reverse operation I suppose is also very useful to them because the feedback is posted online, and at a certain date we open up the gradebook facility on Moodle, and all the students can see their feedback. Moving on to Moodle is a great idea, highly recommend it, but you do need to have sufficient resources in place to manage that procedure. So I would say that if you do decide to go down this route, speak first to your faculty officer, who's your Moodle expert, get their advice, get their opinion, and get their comments on how to make it work, and then after that has been done, it's normally a very simple matter to set up the Moodle page and the assessment and the access. So very good system, highly recommended, but do make sure you speak to a Moodle expert to make sure you know what you're doing first.
You can find more films and podcasts on our website. Go to celt.mmu.ac.uk/good practice. Thanks for watching.